Rondo and Jrue Holiday have scored with C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard at the same rate, 76-76, but much more efficiently, as you can see. And they've been better playmakers with 37 assists to 19 for the Blazers duo so far.
Well, and I think one of the most underrated aspects of DeMarcus Cousins' injury was that they started playing faster, but there was also more ball usage for Rondo. He was the fourth option in terms of having the ball in his hand at one point, and now he's clearly evolved into the guy who's going to be a ball-dominant play creator, which has been big for Jrue. It set him up to be the two-way player that he's been, I think, this second half, and he's absolutely dominating the matchup with Lillard and McCollum. They're 29 and 78 from the floor combined, those two guards. Jrue is 24 and 44 by himself.
Yeah, they've been terrific. But what you also can't lose sight of is they're also playing with the best player on the floor in Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And it's because of Anthony Davis's presence that forces the hand of Portland that creates a lot of opportunities. Not that Jrue isn't terrific, because he is, and Rondo is terrific. But that's the advantage when you have that superstar out there, because he still is the focal point. He still commands a little more attention, and that creates just more space for your other good players to operate. And Jrue and Rondo have done a terrific job of taking advantage of that. And it's got right now Portland trying to come up with some answers. How can we combat that? Because right now there's no way they have a chance in this series if those three guys are playing at the level that they're playing at. And we haven't even discussed Mirotic in this block, but those three guys right now have really kind of set the tone, and they're going to have Terry Stotts and his staff up thinking of ways to devise and plans to devise that will counteract what they're doing. And also, how can we get our guys going offensively? Because if Lillard and McCollum aren't playing at a high level offensively, this series is not going to be attainable.
Yeah, the Blazers are, they're the foundation of what the Blazers do. So I guess moving forward, you just heard Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum both say they're disappointed in their own performances. Obviously, the Pelicans have a lot to say about that. Is the answer they've just got to be better, or is there something else to do to get somebody else involved and get a third scorer consistently into this series?
Honestly, I think they have to be better. They don't have a guy that you can consistently rely on. They haven't had it all year, really. And it's not like they've gotten their shots. They've gotten opportunities. They just have not been able to take full advantage. The fact that they've been so inefficient, the fact that they haven't as a group, they took 10 free throws as a team. And that's the other thing about having that true superstar caliber player. He creates fouls. He gets your team in the bonus. So the fact that they've been inefficient and haven't gotten to the free throw line, those things have to change. I do believe that they can play better, so we'll have to wait and see.
Well, they're certainly not going to be able to continue to turn the ball over at the rate they are. They gave up 23 points on their 16 turns tonight. I think defensively they're going to look at doing some things differently. They gave up 50% from the floor again tonight from three, 51% overall. They're having a very difficult time getting a handle on Jrue, for starters. And you actually saw them at the end of the game. Rondo was that wide open on that last three he hit because they both ran at Jrue to take the ball out of his hands, which is an incredible sign of respect when you've got AD there on the floor at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we'll interrupt postgame coverage to bring in Joe Borgia, the NBA Senior Vice President of Replay and Referee Operations, for his nightly visit. And as always, got a couple of plays to look at here. Joe, in Toronto, a foul was called late in the first half on Jan Mahinmi. It was ruled a flagrant one upon review. If you can, walk us through the criteria, remind us what the criteria are to upgrade a common foul to a flagrant foul.
Sure, Matt. So what happens is you have Ibaka driving to the basket, and Mahinmi comes over and commits a foul. And the officials right away said, you know what, let's go look at this play to see if it meets the criteria. So what they're looking for is a wind-up, impact, follow-through, and that's normally when somebody swings. But on this specific play, what they're looking at, is it a legitimate basketball play? And the answer is no. A legitimate basketball play, the defender's going to jump to defend the shot, not push him in the chest. The other thing they look for, is he in a vulnerable position? And the answer is yes. Ibaka is in the air, and that's considered vulnerable. and then you have the potential for injury. You know, he took a pretty good fall, so there's a lot of potential for injury on that. So the fact that you had sort of a non-basketball play with a push to the chest to a vulnerable player with a potential for injury, that was enough, the officials felt, to upgrade it to a flagrant foul 1.
All right, second play is from the game that just ended out in Portland, a controversial call at the end of that one. The on-court officials awarded the basketball to New Orleans. What did you see in the replay center with the angles you have at your disposal?
Yeah, this was a tough play and obviously very controversial. So they could not come to replay because we were not in the last 2 minutes of the game. So the million-dollar question is, was the ball touched by Harkless? And I think what we're looking for is, can you see it hit? But the other thing is, look for a change of direction. And I think on that last replay there, when you slowed it down, you see the ball as it's going by Harkless's fingertip. You see it change direction slightly. And then we had another angle that showed us that the spin of the ball changed. So if we were in the last 2 minutes and they came to replay, we would have confirmed that it was New Orleans' ball.
But you can't do it. Can't do it.
But we couldn't do it. They got it right, so all good.
All right. Joe, appreciate the time as always. Joe Borgia with us from Secaucus.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, let's get you back to Portland. Jrue Holiday, after a career postseason high 33 points tonight in a Pelicans win, is at the microphone.
Here for the microphone, please, up front on the left.
Rod Walker, New Orleans Advocate. Jrue, I talked about this the last game, how you play with so much emotion, and then tonight you showed even more. Where are you right now as far as just emotionally and mentally as far as playing?
Honestly, just really excited. Really excited to be in the playoffs. Really excited of what our team has accomplished together through the adversity, through the season, through everything. So just to be able to be here, I really feel like we, as a team, appreciate that.
Two questions. First, was there somebody that you were talking to in the front row? It seemed like there was a couple of baskets you were talking to somebody. And then second off, we keep asking you about where you're ranked among other guards in the league. Do people underappreciate you? Do you think a performance like this kind of shows the world what you're capable of?
I was just having a friendly conversation with some of the fans. That was really it. Just going back and forth. I feel like that's what they paid for us to communicate and talk to them. So that's what I was doing. But honestly, man, I do what my team needs me to do. Whatever they need me to do, if it's defend, if it's score, if it's get other people involved, if it's to cheer from the sideline on the bench. So again, I just feel like I'm in a really good place right now, and just blessed to be out there. I know I've been hurt for a minute, so again, just blessed to be out there playing.
Jrue, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Damian Lillard is clearly on the short list of MVP candidates. He usually gets 30 whenever he wants to. He's struggled mightily, and you've been a big part of it. He's 0 for 8 when you're his primary defender in this series. What is it that you're doing to kind of make life difficult for Damian?
Just being aggressive. I think it's a team effort, though. Everybody's being aggressive. We know that he's the head of the snake. Like you said, he can get 30 or 40 anytime he wants to. But I think for him, as well as CJ, we just try to make it tough. In the playoffs, it's a little bit more physical, so we can be a little more physical. But really, just always got to have a hand on him. Always have to know where he is. Offensive rebounds, he gets a lot of open threes that way. So when they get offensive rebounds, I really just try to stick to them.
What's more fun for you, limiting one of the great stars in the game to 2 off shooting nights on his home court, or getting 33 and hitting big shots at the end of games like this?
Both of them are pretty fun, but I think to get the win is the big part for both of us, for both games, and going back home where we feel like our crowd is going to be our sixth man and definitely help us with these last 2 games, and therefore.
Fletcher Mackel, WDSU in New Orleans. You said that you feel like you're in a good place. Do you feel during the game that you're producing like you are, or do you even surprise yourself when you look at the box score afterwards and see 33 and everything that goes with it?
I'm not surprised. I worked hard for this, honestly. Off season when nobody's looking, and really just to be able to go out there and play again is a blessing. I've been battling injuries, and to be out there and to play, that's what I train for. So as well as that, man, my teammates give me so much confidence. I don't think you guys understand how positive of a group we have in our locker room. You guys can probably see it out there on the court, always talking to each other, especially when a team like Portland goes on a win streak. So they start to come back on us. But just to be able to have positive teammates and definitely helps me out.
Chris Hagan, Fox 8 New Orleans. Jrue, I know this is your brand of basketball that you've been playing all year, playing hard two ways like that, but when you're playing guards with the reputation of a CJ or a Dame, does it make you want to elevate your game that much more?
For sure. This is the stage that every basketball player wants to be on. And to be able to do that against two great players like CJ and Dame is awesome. It's going to be hard, it's going to be tough, but I feel like that's why we play the game.
Coach Gentry had said that you were in a good place after, struggling in the first part of your time with the Pelicans with injuries, and then the stuff that you went through with Lauren. Do you feel like a weight has been kind of lifted off your shoulders and you're able to play more freely?
I do. I think once I surpassed everything with my family and made sure that they were okay, things were definitely put into perspective that my family is most important to me, and them being okay, I can come back to the team freely and be able to help them out now. But again, it's been fun. I feel like my teammates and the organization definitely helped me out coming back from things with my family, and even the injuries, and being able to play and being able to perform at the peak I'm performing.
On the left, please.
If you could, the last time you all played a home playoff game, you came back from Golden State down 0-2, and the crowd was still pretty raucous. What are you expecting this time, the fact that you're coming back to?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. I feel like we all know the type of crowd in New Orleans, how they are, especially like you said that last time we came back 0-2, and now that we're up 0-2, I feel like it's just going to be crazy. It's going to be loud. We're gonna have to communicate even better now. That is going to be so loud in that arena.
Earlier, you referred to games 3 and 4 with the fans helping you as the last two games of the series. Do you expect this to be a sweep now?
I expect us to try to win every game, but next game is our mission. We're back home. First time we're back home. Hopefully we can get a win there, but we just got to take it game by game like we've been doing ever since we've been playing the season.
You want to say like real close to me, or you want to say really close to me? No, I don't say okay.
Direct your question to the player that you have in mind up front, right on the left corner.
Rod Walker, New Orleans Advocate. AD, have you ever seen Jrue playing with this much emotion? I mean, he was chatting it up with a fan tonight, and have you ever seen him play like this? And what do you think's got into him?
Not to the point where, how you say, he's talking to the crowd, but he's in a good place, man. He's playing well. He carried us tonight, made some big shots in timely situations, and he's doing on both ends of the floor. I think he's doing a great job on both their guards, who are very tough to defend, very tough, can score at will, but he's doing stuff that he's always done, great defensive things.
Will Guillory, NOLA.com. AD, you've been with Jrue longer than anybody else on this roster. What's it been like seeing, after everything he went through the past few years, for him to have this moment on this stage to play the way he is right now?
It's been great. It's been great. All he wants to do is play basketball. And now that everything that was going on with him is, kind of squared away and doing fine, he's just focused on playing, and he's playing at a high level.
Second round.
Anthony, it seems like Portland tried to focus on you on defense after game 1. Did you feel as a team that maybe other players should take more role offensively, not you?
Anytime I, step on the floor, teams try to game plan for me, and all these guys step up. Nico made big shots. Doe made a big three. Some big layups. Jrue, of course, played Jrue basketball. Ian made tough shots. Each-Wan. All those guys. Darius hit a couple threes. All these guys stepped up, and they know that the ball's coming to them. You know, the more teams try to take me out, the more these guys step up every night, and they have to continue to do it for the rest of the series.
On the left, please.
I think I saw a stat for Rajon that since the playoffs last year, road teams are like 6-37.
Oh my God!
But the games that you've played in, the 2 in Chicago last year, and now these 2, we keep asking you about it, but that whole playoff Rondo thing, do you really think there's something to that?
I don't think it's too much to it. I think this is a level of focus that, the teams I've been fortunate to play with, the focus that we bring on the road. I was telling other guys in commentary that I know Dame and CJ said they texted the other night, but after the game 1, AD and I and a couple other guys are watching film together in the training room. So coming together on the road, I think it's great for team chemistry, and I think that's what has allowed us to get these 2 wins on the road.
And just to follow up here is, I know it's just 2 games, you haven't won the series or anything yet, but the fact that not many people gave you all a chance coming up here to do this, how much confidence can that be, the fact that you, in essence, kind of defy the odds, or at least the prognosticators?
Like I said after last game, we got a ton of confidence. We had confidence coming in. We're a great road team. We know that. And they just come here in a playoff situation, this crowd, with this type of team, we're satisfied that we got both of these wins, but we know that the series isn't over. They beat us on our home floor, so we got to go home and take care of business in front of our crowd. But we got all the confidence. We had confidence before coming to the series. We knew if we just got in, no matter who we played, we're going to give team problems because how much confidence we have in ourselves and what we able to do on the floor, on both ends of the floor. But I think just winning 2 games on the road in a hostile environment just gives us even more confidence.
Rajon, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Everyone in here seems to agree with one thing, that Jrue doesn't get much credit, even though he's among the top 2-way players in the league. First of all, why do you think that is, and how is it possible that he is doing what he's doing on defense against 2 of the most explosive players in our league?
I think it goes along with his personality. He's not a big guy that talks, even though he's shown more emotion in the playoffs as of late, but he flies under the radar. He's playing in a small market the last couple of years, and what he went through with his family, people probably look over him, but I was excited. When I first started to play with Jrue, it was this past summer in Kentucky, and I loved the way he played without the ball. He moved, and he looked like he belonged in a different offensive system, but he's a hell of a player, especially both ways. I get better offensively when he checks me in practice, so it's just been fun getting to know Jrue this year. He's a great person. He's a better person off the court than he is on the court, so I can't say enough about what he does for his team on both ends of the floor.
Back right.
For Rajon, what has this team done to be able to be so composed in some of the big moments? It seems like the louder that crowd gets, and when you need to respond, you or Nico or whoever hits a shot every time you need it to.
We believe in each other. That's the biggest thing that I can ask of any of my teammates and vice versa. We continue to trust one another on both ends of the floor, but not necessarily making shots. We're able to get stops defensively, and we're getting stops at a timely manner when we need them, and that's allowed us to get out on a break and get easy shots offensively and execute.
Will Guillory, NOLA.com. I was just wondering if both of you guys can kind of reflect on the journey from where you guys were when DeMarcus first went down and trying to figure out what it would take to get to this point and now being where you are now winning these first 2 games.
I think it was tough for us when he first went down. He's a big key part to our team. He helped us win a lot of games, but when he went down, we had to try to figure out, how we wanted to play. Of course, a lot of our offense was going through him, top of the floor and in the post, and then we playing off of him. But we just had to change the way we played. Start running, start playing faster. Changed our defensive schemes a little bit, offensive schemes, and was able to figure it out. After we lost, I think 4 or 5, we ended up winning that OKC game and figured this is how we're going to have to play, and just been doing that ever since.
What he said.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for that matter, what they said, right? That's my summary of all that. Game 3 to New Orleans, 2 games in the Big Easy with a chance to close it out with a sweep. You'll see Game 3 right here on NBA TV Thursday night at 9 Eastern time. So a relatively short turnaround, not unlike a regular season turnaround, but by playoff standards, a fairly short turnaround for these two teams. And then Saturday, Game 4, also there in New Orleans. All right, mission for Portland here to, if they're going to turn it around on the road, what needs to happen?
It starts with your best players. To win in the playoffs, when you're playing against teams that know what you do, can affect your system, your best players have to be great. And no more evident than what we're going to see in Game 3. Hostile environment. That's a really young nucleus that Portland has. And those veteran guys, McCollum and Lillard, are going to have to play well in that game, especially early in terms of setting the tone, because they're young players, that supporting cast. They'll get confident if they know their best players are playing well. So Lillard and McCollum are going to have to be big in Game 3.
Yeah, and I also think they're going to need somebody else to come along for the ride. You know, they have not had a third guy really step to the fore and prove that they're ready to be that guy. And I think the depth of this team, now that they have Harkless back, Harkless and Aminu are really good for them defensively. They're meaningful for them in that way. They're going to need to find a way to get defensive rebounds. Nurkic had 0 defensive rebounds tonight. You just can't have that. And so I think you're in a situation now where they're going to look at Ed Davis a little bit more. He played well in the minutes he played tonight. Connaughton was good. They were able to get stops with Connaughton on the floor, and they have all year long. So I think they're really going to reassess what they're doing on the defensive end first, because they gave up a really high number of offensive rebounds late in this game, and that cost them.
New Orleans in a great spot, and they head back to the Big Easy Game 3 on Thursday. That'll do it for our post-game coverage of this one. Of course, we're here after each and every playoff game throughout the postseason.